Trudeau triggers Delhi's strongest attack.
उल्टा चोर कोतवाल को डांटे. I mean, if anybody has a complaint, we have a complaint.
MEA statement explodes on Trudeau.
So
Isolated, humiliated, and totally exposed. True timeline of Trudeau's disaster. Top focus on 5 Live.
It's a big newsy day here on India Today, in India and on 5 Live. With everything that's happening in Parliament, the extended debate on the Women's Reservation Bill, all the news breaks right here on your favorite channel, India's #1. Also, the big fallout to Justin Trudeau's attack on India. All of that and much more right here on the show. I'm Shiv. These are the headlines. Sonia Gandhi demands OBC quota within the Women's Reservation Bill, calls for urgent caste census. It's a big U-turn from what Sonia Gandhi had said when the UPA was in power. BJP hits out, says Rajiv Gandhi ignored OBCs, so why the duplicity from the Congress party?
पहली दफा स्थानीय निकायों में स्त्री की भागीदारी तय करने वाला संविधान संशोधन मेरे जीवन साथी राजीव गांधी जी ही लाए थे.
सोनिया जी ने अपने पूरे भाषण में न गीता मुखर्जी का जिक्र किया, न सुषमा स्वराज का जिक्र किया. ये किस तरह की राजनीति है? अपना क्रेडिट लेना चाहती हैं कि हमारा बिल है.
India Alliance bloc backs Women's Reservation Bill in Parliament but will protest against delimitation clause. Union Minister Smriti Irani slams Congress for staking claim to the Women's Quota Bill.
They say success has many fathers and failure has none. और इसीलिए कल जब ये प्रस्ताव सदन में आया तो कुछ लोगों ने कहा हमारा बिल है, कुछ लोगों ने कहा हमने चिट्ठी लिखी.
Kaveri river water war rages on. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy DK Shivakumar rushed to Delhi to meet with Union Jal Shakti Minister. Canadian singer Shub's India music concert tour has been cancelled in the wake of India Today picking up the story and amplifying it yesterday. This after massive backlash in India over Shub sharing a distorted map of India to placate and appease Khalistani terrorists. ICC releases official anthem for the upcoming One-Day World Cup. Official jersey for the men in blue has also been launched.
दम से और जोश से खिलाड़ी भिड़ेंगे, देखो और जोश से खिलाड़ी भिड़ेंगे, देखो जम के फिर खेल खतरनाक लड़ेंगे.
In view of the growing anti-India activities and politically condoned hate crimes and criminal violence in Canada, all Indian nationals there and those contemplating travel are urged to exercise the utmost caution. This absolutely withering opening line of a statement that the Indian government dropped today amidst an escalating crossfire between India and Canada. It was issued by the External Affairs Ministry just a few hours ago. Not even for Pakistan has India ever used such strong, unsparing language. With it, the India-Canada relationship has descended to a very messy new low. And this angry new face-off is wholly on Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Forgetting that he's a national leader and not some petulant teenager who nobody is playing with, Trudeau has made the egregious error of letting his personal emotions shape a political comment, and that too in Canada's Parliament. If Trudeau's month has been bad following the G20 turbulence, this week has been a downright disaster. Not only have large sections of the Canadian political landscape, commentariat and press ridiculed Prime Minister Trudeau for jumping the gun and painting Canada into a corner with this allegation against India, even his allies, apart from the so-called Five Eye International Alliance, have artfully declined a ride in Trudeau's wagon of personally driven frustration. We now know that when Trudeau stood up in Canada's parliament this week to name India in the assassination of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, he was at absolute boiling point. And we now have the full picture as to why. It turns out, viewer, that Trudeau spent weeks before the G20 summit in Delhi trying to rally Canada's closest allies, the Five Eye nations, which are Canada, the US, UK, New Zealand and Australia, to get them to issue a joint statement against India either before or during the G20. Not only did each of these countries ignore Trudeau's tantrum, they attended the Delhi G20 summit, as you saw, and made a big splash of their relationship and partnership with India. Biden and Modi's big joint statement, Albanese and Modi's viral selfie, and Sunak and Modi's most talked about bilateral. It was a rebuffed and ignored Justin Trudeau who arrived at the G20 to see his Five Eye friends indulging in total dosti with Modi's India. Trudeau must have decided right then that enough is enough. That's why he skipped the gala dinner at the G20 thrown by the President of India as well. The tragedy in all of this is that this friction was needless. India and Canada have largely positive relations, which may be invisible to you now. They have meaningful trade, a shared legacy of Indians, military and cultural exchanges, a large Indian expat student population, and so much more. The Indian military even today says it hopes what's happening is just a catfight because the relationship is much more substantive than what you're seeing in the media. Trudeau decided to push all of that aside in order to give vent to his personal frustrations over just a bad month. The thing about diplomacy is frictions and flashpoints can end as quickly as they've begun. But for now, in the wake of the Indian government's ferocious statement labeling Canada as a nation of politically condoned hate crimes, Justin Trudeau's sense of isolation must have increased manifold. He will need to calm down and deal with this rationally if India-Canada relations are to reflect their much more layered reality, and not be a hostage of an annoyed adolescent aristocrat who nobody wants to play with. Well, Justin Trudeau, as it happens, appears to have sort of softened his stand and claimed that Canada was not trying to provoke India by suggesting its agents were perhaps linked with the murder of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. This after he received, like I said, no support from his closest global allies who wanted no truck with his campaign to defame and to demolish India. Take a look at this report.
The diplomatic war between India and Canada explodes. India has issued a hard-hitting advisory on hate crimes, urging Indian nationals and students in Canada to be cautious. The advisory says, and I quote, "In view of growing anti-India activities and politically condoned hate crimes and criminal violence in Canada, all Indian nationals there and those contemplating travel are urged to exercise utmost caution. Recently, threats have particularly targeted Indian diplomats and sections of the Indian community who oppose the anti-India agenda. Indian nationals are therefore advised to avoid traveling to regions and potential venues in Canada that have seen such incidents."
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing.
After his bombshell statement claiming credible allegations of a potential link between the killing of Canadian extremist Hardeep Singh Nijjar and agents linked to India, Trudeau finds little support either at home or abroad. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese asked journalists to chill out.
Justin Trudeau is a friend of mine. He's a fine Prime Minister of Canada. I was pleased to engage with him at the G20. He has expressed his concerns about this on behalf of the Canadian government, and the Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong has also expressed concerns.
The US wanted Canada to complete the investigation and come up with credible evidence.
Frankly, I haven't seen any evidence to back up Justin Trudeau's allegations. That said, that doesn't mean evidence isn't there. However, the United States, through its silence, seems to imply that it is not on the same page as Ottawa.
And even after Justin Trudeau calling up the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak seeking support, UK insisted trade talks with India will continue. Visibly isolated, Justin Trudeau tried to furiously backpedal, saying his aim was not to provoke India.
We are not looking to provoke or escalate. We are simply laying out the facts as we understand them, and we want to work with the government of India to lay everything clear.
This after his shocking initial comment without investigations even being completed.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
The opposition in Canada slammed Trudeau for making such charges without presenting credible evidence.
I think the Prime Minister needs to come clean with all the facts. We need to know all the evidence possible so that Canadians can make judgments on that. The Prime Minister hasn't provided any facts. He provided a statement, and I will just emphasize that he didn't tell me any more in private than he told Canadians in public, so we want to see more information.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi was briefed on the current Khalistan threat in Canada. India today has also learned from its sources that the Khalistani elements in Canada are planning to protest in front of the Indian High Commission on September 25th. Keeping the situation in mind, Indian diplomats have been asked to stay alert. India has also shared a list of 9 Khalistan-backed terrorist organizations. The list has been shared with Canada, New Zealand, Australia, the US and the UK. As Canada continues to stand with Khalistan extremists, the already soured diplomatic relations between the two countries have hit a new low, with India issuing advisory for its citizens to exercise utmost caution in Canada. Bureau Report, India Today.
Gorov Savant, our managing editor, who's been putting together the most watched coverage of the India-Canada face-off, is with me live. Gorov, I don't remember seeing such a strongly worded statement in recent times, not even perhaps against Pakistan, politically condoned hate crimes, criminal violence in Canada, anti-India agenda, specific, calls for caution to the Indian student population. What's going on?
Shiv, the threat is very real to Indians in Canada, especially students, given the desperation of the Khalistani terrorists and terror sympathizers and Justin Trudeau government's inaction against Khalistani extremists. And government of India is putting facts out in public domain. India has put out facts out in public domain today and yesterday. What was Canada doing? Canada was trying to shift focus away from the Khalistani elements on its territory to credible allegations of a potential link. I mean, this is the Prime Minister of Canada talking about relationship between two strong friends, India and Canada, in such language for political vote banks or political gains inside his own country. Incidentally, it's been happening for some time. The fact that Canada had reached out to the Five Eyes countries at multiple levels, at the levels of officials and ministers, and then at the summit level, and Justin Trudeau got no support from anywhere, and that's been seen with the kind of reaction that's come. Where is the evidence? The leader of opposition in Canada is saying, where is the evidence? And India has given evidence of terrorists and terror sympathizers and gangsters in Canada and Canada's inaction. So enough is enough. India has put out all facts in public domain. India is also not taking the, not lying down and playing dead, rolling over and playing dead. Very clearly, Shiv, this is only likely to deteriorate because now Justin Trudeau's painted himself in a corner. If he wants to win elections, he will continue to escalate. And this is a game of brinkmanship where Canada clearly is not coming out smelling of roses.
They're not only not smelling of roses, Justin Trudeau is looking, beyond foolish. And I mean that with the greatest deal of respect. We all have friends in Canada. We all have a huge Indian population there in Canada, which we must never forget. So India Today will continue to report this story with a great sense of responsibility, because this is about the relationship between two countries, where their partnership goes back a long way. It's a layered relationship in many ways, and therefore the actions of the serving Prime Minister of that country have truly, truly jeopardized something that goes beyond just the Trudeau family. Gaurav, continue to stay with me, because the humiliation of Justin Trudeau doesn't appear to be ending. We've just got some breaking news in now. Well, the India-Canada flashpoint is escalating, but the latest to line up to snub Justin Trudeau is the American ambassador to Delhi, Eric Garcetti, has just spoken to India Today, and he has pretty much just snubbed Canada. He's refused to criticize India, obviously, just like the US State Department refused to do so yesterday, just like President Biden refused to do that when Trudeau had gone to him before the G20. And now the US ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, says, don't jump the gun till the probe is over. The US ambassador saying Canada has jumped the gun. That's what Eric Garcetti has just told India Today. Strong message. Gaurav, diplomats, they make an art form of being able to say a lot of things without saying anything. The America-Canada relationship is an important one. So no one should expect them to slam Canada or criticize Canada. But the careful language being used by Biden, then the State Department, and now Ambassador Garcetti shows that the India-US relationship is an important one, and an old relationship like the US-Canada one, in many ways, the priorities are being shown.
Very clearly, Justin Trudeau, without sharing any evidence, appears to have jumped the gun, laying blame on India. And the US is also saying, let investigations get completed, put out information and evidence in public domain, and then let it be assessed just on the basis of a potential link and a credible allegation. This is not how heads of state and governments behave. But you heard, we'll hear Eric Garcetti in just a moment. And this is exactly, or on similar lines, there's been a reaction from the United Kingdom, from Australia, where Anthony Albanese actually asked journalists to chill out when this question was put to him. United Kingdom insisting that they will continue the trade deal with India and Shiv. This also goes on to show India's diplomatic clout, India's rising clout in the world, and the fact that India stands with the truth, and Justin Trudeau is only indulging in what prima facie appears to be vote bank politics in his country, and actually putting his friends in jeopardy. His friends are in an uncomfortable position, like the United States of America. The Five Eyes countries virtually in a difficult spot right now.
And I want to re-emphasize this because it's important, because as a responsible channel, we want to send out a message that India and Canada are allies. India and Canada have been friends for decades together. They share a very healthy relationship. But this particular flashpoint has been triggered by a frustrated Canadian Prime Minister venting his personal frustrations over what has been an extremely bad year for him in 2023, where his narrative has simply failed to take root, not just in Canada, but also globally, and most certainly here in India. Gaurav, thank you very much for getting us that. Let me give you some data, just to refresh our viewers' memory of how Khalistani hatred, violence has surged under the Prime Ministership of Justin Trudeau. Failure number one. In Canada, July this year, the Kill Diplomats plot. Remember when Khalistani terrorists took out posters, identifying Indian diplomats, putting out their photos, their names, and possibly even their locations, calling for them to be killed? Failure number two, Indira Gandhi's tableau depicting Indira Gandhi's assassination in Brampton. That was something that happened in June. This man, Justin Trudeau, said no apparent laws were broken and it was a peaceful protest. Failure number three by Prime Minister Trudeau. It happened in April in Ontario. A Hindu temple was vandalized by Khalistanis. Failure number four, in March this year in Toronto, the Khalistan army burnt the tricolour. Viral videos, no action taken. Failure number five, Surrey, in March, Canadian Indians were attacked violently by a mob. Failure number 6. In Burnaby in March, Gandhi statue was vandalized. Failure number 7. In Mississauga in February, a temple was vandalized. Brampton in January, temple defaced. I can go on and on. I'm stopping now, but there are so many more instances of how in each and every instance, Justin Trudeau has turned around and said, you can't tar an entire community for the actions of a few. But in each of these cases, no action has been taken. And therefore, ironically, like I said yesterday on my show as well, Justin Trudeau has actually insulted not just the Canadian Sikh community, but the global proud Sikh community. And they will be letting him know what they think. We're taking a very quick break here on 5 Live. On the other side, we have a big related development, and this is actually an India Today Impact story. I hesitated to call it India Today Impact, but India Today is the only channel that took up the outrage against Canadian rapper-singer Shub, who dared to post a picture of a broken India on his social media while he's paying the price because Indian brands sponsoring his concert tour have all dropped him like a hot potato. The concert stands cancelled. I'm going to tell you all about it next.
भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस की तरफ मैं नारी शक्ति बंधन अधिनियम 2023 के समर्थन में खड़ी हुई हूँ। धुएं से बड़ी हुई रसोई से लेकर रोशनी से जगमगाती हुई स्टेडियम तक भारत की स्त्री का सफर बहुत लंबा है, लेकिन आखिरकार उसने मंजिल को छू लिया है। उसने जन्म दिया, उसने परिवार चलाया, उसने पुरुषों के बीच तेज दौड़ लगाई और असीम धीरज के साथ अक्सर खुद को हारते हुए लेकिन आखिरी बाजी में जीतते हुए देखा। भारत की स्त्री के हृदय में महासागर जैसा धीरज है। उसने खुद के साथ हुई बेईमानी की शिकायत नहीं की और सिर्फ अपने फायदे के बारे में कभी नहीं सोचा। उसने नदियों की तरह सबकी भलाई के लिए काम किया है और मुश्किल वक्त में हिमालय की तरह अडिग रही। स्त्री के धैर्य का अंदाज लगाना नामुमकिन है। वह आराम को नहीं पहचानती और तक जाना भी नहीं जानती। हमारे महान देश की माँ है स्त्री, लेकिन स्त्री ने हमें सिर्फ जन्म ही नहीं दिया है, अपने आंसुओं खून पसीने सींचकर हमें अपने बारे में सोचने लायक, बुद्धिमान और शक्तिशाली भी बनाया है। अध्यक्ष महोदय, स्त्री का मेहनत, स्त्री का गरिमा और स्त्री के त्याग की पहचान करके ही हम लोग मनुष्यता की परीक्षा में पास हो सकते हैं।
भारत के संविधान की प्रस्तावना में सामाजिक और आर्थिक न्याय का भी उल्लेख है और प्रतिष्ठा और अवसर की समानता का भी उल्लेख है। आज के इस बिल से महिलाओं की प्रतिष्ठा तो बढ़ेगी, अवसर की समानता भी बढ़ेगी, महिलाओं को रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिलेगा। इसके महत्वपूर्ण 4 ऐसे क्लोज हैं जिनका मैं जिक्र करना चाहूँगा कि हम जो इस बिल के माध्यम से अमेंडमेंट कर रहे हैं, इसमें 4 महत्वपूर्ण क्लोज हैं। बाकी जो चर्चा होगी उसके बाद जो विषय आएंगे उसका बाद में उत्तर देने का अवसर मिलेगा, आप देंगे तो मैं दूंगा। पहला जो क्लॉज है वो संविधान का आर्टिकल 239, उसमें हम एक 239AA जोड़ रहे हैं, जिससे नेशनल कैपिटल दिल्ली की असेंबली में महिलाओं के लिए 33% सीट का रिजर्वेशन सुनिश्चित होगा। ये इट इज ए फर्स्ट अमेंडमेंट क्लॉज है इस बिल में, क्लॉज 2। फिर हम दूसरा क्लॉज 3 जोड़ रहे हैं, जिसमें 330 आर्टिकल जो संविधान का है उसमें 33A एक हम सेक्शन जोड़ रहे हैं, आर्टिकल जोड़ रहे हैं, जिसके अनुसार महिलाओं के लिए लोकसभा में 33% आरक्षण होगा। लोकसभा में ये बहुत बड़ा कदम है अध्यक्ष जी, बहुत बड़ा कदम है। और तीसरा संशोधन बिल के क्लॉज 4 के अनुसार संविधान के आर्टिकल 332 के बाद एक नया आर्टिकल 33A जोड़ा जा रहा है, जिसके अनुसार महिलाओं के लिए स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली में 33% सीटों का प्रावधान हम करने जा रहे हैं। और जो चौथा एक क्लॉज है 5, उसके अनुसार संविधान का आर्टिकल 334 के बाद एक नया आर्टिकल 33A जोड़ा जा रहा है, जिसके अनुसार महिलाओं के लिए ये आरक्षण जो आज ये सदन चर्चा के लिए ले रहा है, ये आरक्षण 15 सालों के लिए प्रभावी रहेगा। 15 सालों के बाद अगर इसको बढ़ाना है तो ये संसद ही तय करेगी, ये संसद को अधिकार रहेगा।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
ਗੱਡੀ ਨਿਊ ਜੀ ਕਰਾ ਕੇ ਭਾਈ ਇੰਚੀ ਦੇ ਪਵਾ ਕੇ ਟਾਇਰ ਘੁੰਮਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਘੁੰਮਦੇ।
As a singer and public figure, you're free to post what you wish on your social media. You're free to play to your domestic gallery and craft an image that is pleasing to groups like Khalistanis and anti-India forces. That is your right. You are free to do that. But public figures like Shub, the Canadian rapper who decided to venture into sensitive areas just to please an important section of their fan base or express himself, should realize that their fame stretches beyond just Canada. Shub, to his credit, is a talented young star with millions of fans here in India. His folly in posting that picture, which we can't show you, in order to appease sections of his audience, is to forget that he has fans here in India as well. A picture he posted of a broken India without the northern part and without the eastern part. If he has the freedom to flex for them, then Indian fans have the right to flex right back at him. Companies like BookMyShow, they read the writing on the wall. Social media, long dismissively seen as some irrelevant talk shop, has proven repeatedly that it is able to amplify the voices of the unheard. In this case, lakhs, perhaps millions of Indians who felt genuinely provoked and angered by the flippant disregard a global celebrity has shown to Indian sovereignty, and yet getting set to reap the benefits of that very same country thanks to millions of its fans. And he had sold out concerts which have now been cancelled. Companies like BookMyShow and others answer to their shareholders. If Shubh's concert was allowed to proceed, the Canadian singer would perform, collect his crores and fly off to his next concert destination. It is these Indian companies that would be left to face the justified fury of sections of Indian citizens, fans and customers. These companies answer to their shareholders, and clearly Justin Trudeau's adolescent hissy fit in Canada yesterday served as some kind of a tipping point. Permitting a Khalistan-loving Canadian rapper a free run of Indian concert venues, in the minds of some, would just look bad. But I also feel for Shub. He's young, he's 25 years old. Having to cancel a few concerts in India won't affect his overall fame and fortune, but it does deprive him of the fees he would be paid to perform, and they are not unsubstantial. But it serves as a cautionary lesson. Not only is this the power of social media, it's the power of social media in a country that has long stopped taking provocations lying down. You might wonder, what stopped Shubh from just issuing an apology? Surely there are public relations companies smart enough to craft a statement that calms angry Indian fans, who some people are branding as bullies, while not rocking the boat with Khalistani terrorists and the mafia in Canada, who you're trying to appease, obviously? Or was there simply no way out? Would an apology have endangered Shubh's own life in Canada? These are things to think about too, for a young singer whose fame and renown made him believe he was beyond the reach of counteraction from his fans in India. I'm a strong believer in freedom of speech and freedom to offend. Like I said, Shubh had every right to post that picture. But I also believe that the reaction to Shubh is freedom as well. Indian fans deserve to see their stars and enjoy their concerts. If Shubh can still reach out, maybe even retract or apologize or explain or clarify, why should fans be deprived of his music? I'll end by saying this entire episode is another cautionary tale. In a time when political parties frequently drum up fake trends to somehow represent sentiment against each other, the anger against Shubh, in my view, was organic. It was an expanding sense of fury and disbelief among many citizens. Like I said, a new India that doesn't take, well, you know the word. Thanks for listening. Okay, I want to go across to our reporters now who are reporting from the 4 cities where the concerts of Shubh were scheduled to take place. We have Gorov Savant live from Delhi. That's where one of the concerts has been cancelled. Anaga is with us from Bengaluru, Apurva from Hyderabad. But I'd like to start with Roshni Vishwakarma, who's live with us from Mumbai, where one of the big concerts, which was scheduled to take place on the Cordelia cruise, Roshni, if I'm not mistaken, has also been cancelled now. What are the reactions you're getting? It looks like many of these companies decided they simply didn't want to take the risk anymore, Roshni. I don't think Roshni can hear me. What a pity. Let's go across to Apurva Jayachandran, live with us from Hyderabad. Apurva, what are the reactions you're getting? Big move by these companies who've unplugged from this concert sponsorship, cancelling the Shubh concert tour in India.
Well, definitely, Shiv. In fact, we've seen how a boat, which was the main sponsor for, Shubh's concert, that they have also put out a statement saying that they're first and foremost, an Indian company, an Indian at heart. So it's a strong statement and a sentiment that the company has put out, standing by its Indian roots. In fact, not only has boat, but also BookMyShow has also issued out a statement wherein they said that the tickets will be fully refunded in 7 to 10 days. This is the kind of statement statement that both BookMyShow and Boat have also said. Remember, Shub's concert was one of the big concerts that so many of Indians in who had a huge fan base here, especially in India, they would be looking forward to, be it in the concert in Delhi or in Mumbai, Bengaluru or in Hyderabad itself. We've seen several people who had also patiently been waiting for the tickets to be open before they were able to finally get their hands on the tickets, and now for the show to be entirely cancelled. Remember, Mumbai also had a Cordelia cruise, so also lined up special events there for Shub as well. So all of these intricate details that we're seeing, itineraries that were being planned out for his concerts, that all of a sudden to be dropped right now definitely does come as a shock to a lot of them who were also looking forward to meeting with the Canadian star himself. He's from India, yes. But,
Anaga, what about Bengaluru? Anaga, Bengaluru is one of India's biggest concert venues. Millions of people, lakhs of people would have been looking forward to the Shub concert in Bengaluru as well. Big disappointment for them, but I don't think anybody will be surprised.
Well, very, very true, Shiv. We can say that Shubjit Singh's concert title, Still Rolling, is not really rolling anymore, at least in Bengaluru, for sure. We had people from Chennai who had booked tickets in Wonderla Amusement Park because they wanted to catch a glimpse of Shubjit Singh in person. Now, now at this point, we are not wrong to say that Shubjit Singh has lost on a very big opportunity here in Bengaluru, because remember, his concert was supposed to happen in Wonderla Amusement Park. It's a huge campus, that would have garnered thousands of people from Bengaluru, from Chennai people, because the closest location for them is Bengaluru. Now, Shubjit Singh has lost a huge fan base in Karnataka, of course. He's got a very loyal fan base over here and in Chennai. Very safe to say that all those fans are disappointed. But yet, according to my conversations with them, they have no regrets about it, because they do not want somebody, somebody who posts anti-India posts on their Instagram. They do not want to endorse such a star, is what we are hearing from fans.
Gaurav, the other angle in all of this is that it could have been a law and order problem as well. We don't know what went through the minds of these companies when they pulled out of the sponsorship. But apart from the anger of fans, they would have had to also take into account the possibility of violence, the possibility of a backlash at these concert venues. And that has actually happened before.
It's happened, and there's a real apprehension it could have happened again. Had he sung something which would have promoted that secessionist ideology on Indian soil, it would have been hugely embarrassing for the organizers, for the country. And the fact that he posted something on his Instagram, there was a backlash. He removed it, but then did he apologize for it? Yes, he's 25 years old. Yes, he could be misguided, but does he regret it? And so far, there is nothing to indicate that he regrets it. So if you are of a secessionist mindset, then why should you profit from a country where we are getting reactions from Mumbai, from Hyderabad, from Bengaluru, where everyone says we stand together as one strong nation? And why should Indians accept a map of India which doesn't have Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab as part of our country, or pockets in the northeast as part of our country? Completely unacceptable. And that message needs to go out loud and clear. This isn't an issue that only government of India is grappling with. This is an issue where Indians have responded perhaps in one voice.
Roshni is also with us. Roshni Vishwakarma, I hope you can hear me. She's in Mumbai, where the first concert was set to kick off on the Cordelia cruise. Are people pulling out, Roshni? What are the reactions after this tour has just collapsed?
Yeah, I think people are very much satisfied that the decision has been placed, because they have been showing that how they are unhappy with what he has been posting, and they have been demanding that they are not willing to attend his the entire thing that was supposed to happen on cruise, his concert. They were not willing to do this. And now, since the sponsors themselves has promised, BookMyShow has promised that the refund would be raised within 7 to 8 days. So they even have a sense of relief that the money that they have invested would be refunded. But on the other side, they are also happy because they were not willing to support or go and watch somebody who is not willing to show the same respect for the nation, and the nation in which he is coming to have a tour and entertain people from the same nation. So I think they are happy. Yeah.
Okay, Gaurav, Anaga, Apurva and Roshni, thank you very much for joining me on this story. I will only end by saying it's still a pity. I think it's a pity because Shub has millions of fans. He should have known that respect must be shown. This could have easily been handled. He could have easily still been able to perform for his fans if he had simply understood sentiments, understood emotions, understood anger and how it collides with your own freedom of expression. These are realities of this day and age. Hopefully, maybe he will clarify or apologize or retract and be able to perform, because India is a country that's known for its hospitality. Indians, and young Indians especially, want more concerts by talented stars like Shub to be able to happen here. Well, thanks for all of our reporters getting us that update on that. We've got some breaking news coming in now. And we've got some important breaking news coming in. This could be an inside track on the women's reservation bill. Sources telling India Today's political team that the women's reservation may be implemented well before 2029. Remember, at this time, there have been apprehensions raised by the opposition that this is a Jumla bill because the actual application of the bill only starts in 2029. Post delimitation, the increase of seats in the Lok Sabha, as well as the caste census. Sources are telling India Today that the South Indian states will be considered. The South states will not be punished. Mosmi Singh is live with us on this story. Mosmi, break this down for us. Apprehensions raised by the opposition, with now sources telling you that women's reservation could be applicable well before 2029.
Shiv, clearly this has been a bone of contention and the opposition has been hammering in this point ever since yesterday that if it was not being implemented immediately, then what was the point of bringing it in the special session? And, somewhere the opposition was calling it Jumla Bazi. Perhaps, our sources do tell us that the women reservation bill perhaps could be implemented well before 2029.
Okay, Mosmi, we're going to have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Rahul Gandhi speaking in the Lok Sabha.
In support of the women's reservation bill. Yesterday, I was listening to the discussion and the issue of the Sengol came up. And there was a conversation, a to and fro, about the Sengol. And also a little bit about the conversation about the transfer of power from the British to the people of India. Before handing over power to the people of India, the British asked the leadership of the freedom movement, who are we going to transfer power to? And of course, there was a little bit of arrogance in this statement because they viewed India as a poor country. And the revolutionary answer that our freedom fighters gave was, we are going to transfer power to the people of India. So we became a country that from its inception gave the vote to all our women. And this was a revolutionary thing at the time. We also gave the vote to every single community. And the vote was a mechanism of transfer of power. It was designed to further transfer power to the people of India. And if you look at the journey from independence, it's been that journey. It's been a constant transfer of power, more and more and more power to the people of India, on one side. And on the other side, the counter idea that take away power from the people of India. This is the fight that is going on. And in fact, in many ways, it is the fight that is taking place today. Huge step forward in the transfer of power to the women of India was Panchayati Raj, where they were given reservation and they were allowed to enter the political system at scale. And this is another step. It's a big step, it is not a small step. And I'm sure everybody in this room, the treasury benches, the opposition, everybody agrees that this is a very important step for the women of our country. They fought for independence. They are as capable as any man, in many ways more capable, and should be given as much space as they possibly can be given. There is one thing, in my view, that makes this bill incomplete. I would like to have seen OBC reservation included in this bill. I think it is very important that a large chunk of India's population, large chunk of India's women should have access to this reservation. And that is missing in this bill. There are also two things that seem strange to me. One is the idea that you require a new census to implement this bill. And the second is that you require a new delimitation to implement this bill. In my view, it is quite simple. This bill can be implemented today by giving 33% of the seats in the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha to India's women. And so I wonder if this is not designed to push the ball forward. To push the ball forward 7, 8, 9 years, and then let this thing play out the way it does. I know my friends tend to like to take the attention of people away from other issues. You know, there is of course the Adani issue, which is they always want to take the attention away. But there is another, I would like to say that. One of the things that, this is quite a nice building, nice peacocks, nice peacock feathers on the ground, nice peacock feathers in the chair. It's a nice, tasteful building. But frankly, I would have liked to see the President of India in this process. The President of India is a woman. She represents the tribal community, and it would have been befitting to have her visible in this transfer from one house to the other. So one of the things that the government likes to distract from, of course, is Mr. Adani. And there is another thing that the government likes to distract everybody from. And that thing is called the caste census. For some reason, and I don't quite understand what this reason is, the moment the opposition raises the issue of caste census, the BJP tries to create a new distraction, a new sudden, event, so that the OBC community and the people of India look the other way. In my research for this speech, I took a look at the different institutions that define how our country moves forward. There are many. There is the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Vidhan Sabhas. There is the bureaucracy. There is the press. And there's the judiciary. And I looked with an eye to understand what is the participation of the OBC community in these institutions. मतलब हमारे जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनमें ओबीसी की भागीदारी कितनी है, ये सवाल मैं पूछ रहा था और मैंने अलग अलग इंस्टीट्यूशंस में थोड़ा रिसर्च किया. जो सेंट्रल the central, don't worry, don't be scared, we are discussing, डरो मत, हम कास्ट सेंसस की बात कर रहे हैं, डरो मत. तो मैंने, I checked, simple thing I did. I said, look, what is the most important set of people in the government of India? The people who define how this country is governed. Of course, Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha, but beyond that, they are the 90 secretaries of the government of India. 90 people, secretaries, are responsible for managing the core of the government of India. And I asked myself the question, how many of the 90 people come from the OBC community? And I was shocked and shattered by the answer. मैंने ये सवाल पूछा कि ये जो 70 सेक्रेटरी हैं, 90 सेक्रेटरी हैं, ये जो हिंदुस्तान की सरकार को चलाते हैं, जो बजट को चलाते हैं, इनमें से ओबीसी कितने हैं? नरेंद्र मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री हैं, ओबीसी के लिए काम करते हैं. मैंने ये सवाल पूछा. मैं आपको जवाब देना चाहता हूं. हिंदुस्तान के सेक्रेटरीज 90 में से सिर्फ 3 ओबीसी से हैं. और सुनिए, नहीं घबराइए मत, डरो मत. और सुनिए, ये जो सेक्रेटरीज हैं जो ओबीसी कम्युनिटी से हैं, ये हिंदुस्तान के सिर्फ 5% बजट को कंट्रोल करते हैं. मतलब अगर हिंदुस्तान का बजट 44 लाख करोड़ का है, तो ये 2.47 लाख करोड़ मतलब 5% कंट्रोल करते हैं. और सुनिए, मैं कर रहा हूं, मैं वहीं आ रहा हूं. मतलब ये जो है
आप ओबीसी की बात नहीं सुनना चाहते, ओबीसी की बात नहीं सुनना चाहते, ओबीसी की बात नहीं सुनना चाहते, ओबीसी की बात नहीं सुनना चाहते. आप ओबीसी के खिलाफ हैं, आप ओबीसी के खिलाफ हैं, ओबीसी के खिलाफ हैं. आप ओबीसी के अधिकार के बारे में नहीं सुनना चाहते, ओबीसी के बारे में नहीं सुनना चाहते, ओबीसी के प्रति न्याय नहीं चाहते, ओबीसी के प्रति न्याय नहीं होना चाहिए.
ये see they are not showing it on TV. ये जो है, हाँ,
मैं माननीय सदस्यों से आग्रह करूंगा. एक मिनट
एक मिनट रुकिए। माननीय सदस्य, मैं आग्रह करूंगा, एक तो ये महिला आरक्षण बिल है और दूसरा सभी माननीय सदस्य समान है। डरो मतो ये शब्द इस पार्लियामेंट में नहीं बोलना चाहिए।
सर, ये जो डिस्कशन है, सर, स्पीकर सर, दिस डिस्कशन, this discussion is about the transfer of power to the people of India.